Hi guys, and welcome to A River of Roses. So as you may know, I recently went to Puerto Pollensa in Majorca, which is basically my favourite place in the whole world. And as it was my 5th time being there, I felt like I'd tried a few restaurants and bars, so I thought I'd share them with you today. Please bear in mind that these are my personal opinions and they're not to everyone's agreement. So as I'm going through each restaurant, I'm going to mark out of 10 the atmosphere, surroundings, presentation, food and drink and the staff there. So starting off with restaurants, this is a countdown of which one's my least favourite to my favourite, even though they're all my favourites really. The first restaurant I'm going to talk about is Marina. This restaurant is situated by the sea and I went there for lunch one day just because I hadn't really had any breakfast. So me and my boyfriend went to get some nachos and we went to this restaurant. The atmosphere I've put as a 7 because I felt like, because it was during the day, it wasn't very busy, so I didn't really see what it would be like when it was busy. So that's just basically why. For the surroundings, I've also put a 7 because the decor of the restaurant could have been better. I sat outside, there wasn't really any seats inside, I didn't see any anyway because I was sat quite far back, and it was just, I felt very basic for what it could have been in its place, like by the sea. Presentation of my nachos I've put as 9. They were very, very good, I'd say. We got it on like a wooden board and it had nachos, then its dips next to it, and I liked the wooden board, and I also had a banana milkshake or banana smoothie, that were it. And although that was a bit wishy-washy, I didn't really like that, but it did have quite a bit of flavour into it, and that was served in a milk bottle style bottle. The nachos themselves were very nice. I loved the topping and I wanted to go there again, but I didn't get a chance. So I would have ordered the same thing because I really, really liked it. The staff there I've put a 6.5. They were very, very vacant. Like when we were trying to get his bill, we tried to get their attention and they wouldn't come over to our table. They tend to like go around the middle of the area. So I were wishing we'd sat somewhere else, but in reality they should have come to us because we were guests too, or customers even, or whatever. So in total that is a 39.5 out of 5. No, out of 50, sorry, 5. But I really did enjoy the nachos and I would definitely recommend going there and trying some of the food. Next is Steakhouse. This is like an American diner style restaurant and they sell like Mexican food. It's a bit like chimichangas in the UK or Nando's or something. We also got nachos from there and I have to say that I did prefer the Marina nachos, but it was very nice. They had like statues on the wall, well, in like glass cabinets, and then they had actresses and musicians from America all posted all over the walls. So I really like the style of this restaurant, so I've given that a 10 out of 10 for atmosphere, just because it was really busy and the surroundings were really like great and everyone seemed to be enjoying the food. And that, I think that's what you need in a restaurant for atmosphere. If everyone's like really enjoying the food and everyone seems happy, then that's a good restaurant, I guess. Surroundings I've put in 9 because I like the decor and that's all I've got to say on that because I've already rambled about what it looked like. The presentation, I've given this one an 8 just because it's nachos, you know, like, and we got given a little table, so because we got sides, we got jalapeno poppers. I'm not too sure what they called them on the menu, but there were breaded jalapenos with cheese in the middle and fries. There wasn't much room on the table, so, but they were in bowls. They were quite average, but I don't know. They put loads of cheese on top of the nachos, which I personally, that's the only thing that I really wasn't too keen on, was so much cheese. So that kind of overpowered the presentation. For the food, I've given it an 8 because I felt like there was a lot of cheese. We got chilli in it, but the chilli was all kind of at the bottom in the middle, and there were a lot of jalapenos. And they were like pickled jalapenos, so they were very strong. But apart from that, it was a really good dish. For the staff, I've given a 6 because they were very, very vacant, and I felt like they were understaffed. And the staff that were about, you had to kind of wait about for them because they were just racing up and down with plates. But there was also another restaurant which was in the centre. This one that we went to was on Pine Walk again. The other one was in the square in the centre, and I didn't go to that one, so I'm not sure what that was like. So in all, I've given that a 41 out of 50. I can't say these scores. Next up is a tapas restaurant. This was also situated on Pine Walk. This restaurant was split into two, kind of. I think there was like a shop in the middle that was completely random, and then there was like a narrow restaurant and then a large restaurant on this side. We went to the narrow restaurant. I absolutely loved that tapas. Seriously, the food was unbelievable. Apart from the odd things that I didn't like, I can't remember what I didn't like, but you know tapas, you get loads of different things. We got I think a set menu, so it just came out like there were shelves of different dishes, like small dishes, and I really enjoyed most of them. So that's why I've put that on my list. For the atmosphere of this restaurant, I've put an 8 because there seemed to be everyone who was eating that were just keeping themselves to themselves. There wasn't much entertainment. I can't remember if there was music. For the surroundings, I've put a 7. The tables I felt were very crammed together. The layout of the whole restaurant was very modern, so for that I'd just give a 10 for the look of it. But yeah, I felt like it was very awkward because I kept having to shuffle my chair in every time somebody went past. For presentation of the food, I've put a 9 because the shells looked really nice and pretty, and they went with the decor of the restaurant also, so I felt like that was really good. The staff, I've put an 8. They were kind of hard to get hold of, but as it was quite a small restaurant, they were by the doorway, but everyone was by the doorway, so you could just like call them over. But they didn't really come round and ask how the food was or anything. That restaurant I've given a 42 out of 50 overall. The next restaurant I went to the first time this time that I've just been, and it is the Velomar restaurant. This restaurant was absolutely unbelievable. We first went for cocktails and I had a mojito, and it was very nice. We were sat on the deck on the beach. I think we were like the only people in there at one point. I think we were the last people. There was only one member of staff that time who kept coming outside because it was so quiet, but there were still quite a lot of people inside who worked there, and they seemed to be having lunch together, so that actually gave a boost to the atmosphere because they were all having a good time, and it was nice and calm like on the beach where we were sat. For atmosphere, I've given that an 8. It was just nice and chilling to sit on the beach-ish. Well, on the deck on the beach. The only thing that I felt was a bit thrown out was the fact that we weren't like with everyone else. Like all the waiters were inside having a good time and we were sat outside. If they'd have sat outside with us, but you can't really, can you? But I think that would have given it a big boost. I've given the surroundings a 9.5 because the walkway that was in the middle, I felt like that were like splitting the restaurant in two. But I felt like that would be resolved when we eat there, which we did. It's also a pizzeria, I just forgot to mention. The presentation, I actually had a pizza myself. Giving that a 9 because you can go wrong with a pizza probably, but you've got to be really bad at making pizza. And even I can make pizza. Food, I've given a 9. I really enjoyed it. I felt like it needed a bit of chilli, but that's just my palate. But I put some chilli oil on, and I didn't really like the chilli oil, but yeah. And also, there were little confetti on the floor. I'm not sure if it was meant to be there, but it looked really pretty anyway. Staff, I've given a 10 out of 10 because there were loads of staff everywhere and they were really helpful and really friendly, and they were just very available to everyone, and I felt like that was really good. So that restaurant, I've given a 45 out of 50. And my number one restaurant that I've been to every single time I've been to Majorca, ordered exactly the same dish, same starter. It's just, I just want to eat there when I have my last meal on earth, basically. So this restaurant is Lapera, and it is quite hard to find. The other restaurant, Velomar, is on the Pine Walk, just a bit further along. Lapera is situated by the supermarket, like on kind of the main road opposite the bank. I'll probably try and throw in a map or something. It's next to an Italian restaurant, if that helps. Atmosphere, I've given a 9. There's not much like entertainment, that's the only thing really. Everyone enjoys the food, everyone keeps themselves. If it was a boring restaurant, like with crap decor, then I'd probably give it like a 7, but the decor is really nice. I've given the surroundings an 8. Just because it's got vine trees on the climbing roof thingy, and the leaves sometimes fall off onto your table, so that's the only downfall. It looks like an old, I'm not going to say English garden because it's not like flowery, but it looks like kind of a Greek garden. I don't know what like a Majorcan garden looks like, so I can't really say that, but yeah. The presentation, I've given a 9. Presentation is going on the dessert because the lamb cutlets that we get, presentation on them is very basic, but they can't really do anything about the presentation really, I don't feel, unless they're like doing like a pyramid or something, I don't know. But the food, I've given a 10, absolutely. If I could, I'd give it a 20 out of 10 because it's absolutely phenomenal. And like I say, if they had this restaurant over here, I'd probably eat it every day because it's absolutely unbelievable. It's like cooked on wood chips with salt and I'm not too sure what else, but it's just, it's got such a nice barbecuey taste that's not really barbecuey because it's kind of a bit salty. But if you're not a vegetarian or you're not a vegan or anything like that, I'd definitely recommend it because please just eat that. I've recommended it to loads of people and I can't recommend it to enough people, I don't know. And the staff, I've given a 10 out of 10 also. We're friends with like all the staff there. Each time we go, we haven't been actually for 2 years and they remembered us. And they're always so friendly, they give us a hug and a kiss each time we go there, and they're just very welcoming, and they just like have a laugh with like all the clients. I keep saying clients. They have a laugh with all the customers. Even if it's your first time going there, they'll be like overly friendly, and I just can't recommend it enough. And I've given that a 46 out of 50, which I feel is not enough. And also a couple of restaurants that I've not put on my list. Casa Vital, I think, or something like that. It was on the corner. It was in the square somewhere. They do really nice food. My mum and dad got steak, I think, or some meat, and they brought it out and it were all sizzling, and I liked that. I can't remember what I had, but I remember it was good, and I remember tasting the meat and it was really nice. And I've also put a vegan bar down. I've not been here, so I can't comment on anything. When I looked in, it was like an old English garden, and they had like little bean bags to sit on and everything. And yeah, I just wanted to mention that because I've never actually seen a vegan bar in Puerto Pollensa before. This is like on a side street by Mombassa's Cafe. If you walk down towards the square, towards the roundabout from Mombassa's Cafe, and turn left, the first left that you come to, you'll find the vegan bar, basically. I can't really like describe where it is because it's kind of like on and off street, so that's, yeah. So that's it anyway for my favourite restaurants in Puerto Pollensa. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you've got any other if you've been to Puerto Pollensa yourself and you've got any recommendations, please do leave them below in the comments box, and that'll probably help whoever's watching this video out if you want them to go to Puerto Pollensa. I'm going to do a blog on what to do in Puerto Pollensa. Keep an eye on that, and it should be up probably this week at some point. Anyway, yeah, thanks for watching. Bye!